November 12, 2023. On a seemingly ordinary day at a busy marketing firm, tensions simmer between Emma Hughes, the secretary, and her boss, Daniel Morgan. Their months-long affair has reached a breaking point. In the evening, as the office empties, Emma and Daniel have a heated argument in his office. Emma threatens to reveal their affair to his wife, pushing Daniel into a furious rage. Hours later, he is discovered dead, slumped over his desk with a head wound. Papers are scattered, a broken glass lies on the floor, and a desk lamp has been knocked over. It's unclear whether this was a robbery, a crime of passion, or something else entirely. Daniel Morgan, at 45, embodies success and ambition as the CEO of a prestigious marketing firm. With his sharp suits, engaging smile, and commanding presence, he exudes confidence. To the public, he is a devoted family man with a loving wife and 2 children. But this image conceals a tumultuous personal life. For over a year, Daniel has been involved in a clandestine affair with his secretary, Emma Hughes. Initially drawn to Emma's youth and energy, he finds himself increasingly entangled in a situation that threatens both his career and family life. While he enjoys the thrill of their relationship, Daniel's internal conflict grows. He is ambitious and power-driven, often prioritizing his work and image over his personal happiness. This perfectionism, however, has made him vulnerable to emotional breakdowns, especially as he faces pressure from both Emma's demands and his own sense of guilt. As the affair progresses, Daniel becomes more paranoid about being discovered, leading him to make impulsive decisions. His facade of control starts to crumble, revealing a man who is deeply troubled and desperately trying to maintain his double life. Emma Hughes, at 28, is ambitious, intelligent, and strikingly attractive. As Daniel's secretary and mistress, she has played a pivotal role in his life for over a year. At first, Emma saw the affair as an opportunity to advance her career, leveraging her relationship with Daniel to gain favor and recognition within the firm. However, as the affair continues, Emma becomes increasingly unstable. Her emotional dependency on Daniel grows, leading her to feel trapped. She passionately believes that if Daniel truly loves her, he will leave his wife, but she also fears the consequences if he doesn't. This pressure intensifies her emotional turmoil, making her capable of desperate actions. Though she often presents a vulnerable image, Emma is also manipulative. She knows how to play on Daniel's emotions and fears to keep him from straying away. When confronted with the possibility of exposure, Emma's anxiety turns into rage, showcasing her darker side. This complexity makes her a compelling character who evokes both sympathy and suspicion. Karen is a poised and sophisticated woman in her 40s. She has long suspected her husband of infidelity, often feeling the strain in their marriage, but choosing to overlook it for the sake of their family. Now, as the grieving widow, she faces the public scrutiny of her husband's death, while concealing her true feelings of betrayal and anger. Her composed demeanor during the investigation raises questions among the detectives. Is she truly heartbroken, or is there more beneath the surface? Karen's complex emotions, love, betrayal, and grief create an intriguing layer to her character, revealing a woman who must confront the reality of her marriage while navigating her husband's legacy. Tom is in his early 40s, loyal to Daniel, but increasingly troubled by the influence Emma has on his friend. As Daniel's business partner, Tom has always prioritized their professional relationship, but he harbors resentment towards Emma for her role in Daniel's life. He suspected the affair for some time and had warned Daniel about the risks, but Daniel dismissed his concerns. During the investigation, Tom's knowledge of the firm and his complicated feelings about Emma make him a key player. His loyalty to Daniel clashes with his growing frustration, creating tension as he navigates the fallout from Daniel's death. Jake, in his 30s, is a quiet and unassuming figure in the office. Often overlooked, he goes about his work without drawing attention. However, he has been in the office long enough to witness the dynamics between employees and may know more than he lets on. On the night of the murder, Jake was one of the last people in the building. His subtle observations and knowledge of office gossip could provide crucial insights into the relationships and tensions at play. Yet, he also has his own secrets that may complicate the investigation, adding an element of mystery to his character. The office occupies the top floor of a sleek, modern corporate building, characterized by its glass walls and minimalist design. The ambiance is cold and sterile, accentuated by the dim lighting that casts long shadows across the polished surfaces. Throughout the day, the office buzzes with activity, employees hurriedly typing at their desks, phones ringing, and meetings taking place in glass-walled conference rooms. However, an undercurrent of tension runs through the workplace, particularly between Emma Hughes and her boss, Daniel Morgan. Their secret affair has become a source of mounting stress for both. Emma feels trapped in a cycle of secrecy and betrayal, increasingly frustrated with Daniel's reluctance to leave his wife. She watches him interact with colleagues, pretending that nothing is wrong, while inside, she wrestles with anger and disappointment. As the day winds down, the office begins to clear out. The sound of typing slows, and conversations fade into whispers. In the early evening, with only a few employees left working late, Emma and Daniel retreat to his office for what they both know will be a crucial conversation. Inside the office, the atmosphere is thick with unresolved tension. Emma, her face flushed with emotion, confronts Daniel. "You promised me you'd leave her," she exclaims, her voice rising. Daniel, feeling cornered, counters defensively. "I can't just throw my life away." "You don't understand the consequences." Their argument escalates, filled with accusations and personal attacks. Emma, feeling increasingly desperate, threatens to expose their affair, vowing to tell his wife and even the media. The mention of exposure sends Daniel into a fury. "You wouldn't dare. You think you can control me?" He roars, his face a mixture of rage and fear. In a fit of anger, Emma storms out, slamming the door behind her with such force that it rattles the glass walls. Daniel is left alone in the dimly lit office, his breathing heavy as he processes the confrontation. Hours later, he is found dead, slumped over his desk. When the police arrive at the scene, the atmosphere is charged with shock and confusion. Daniel's body lies sprawled across his desk, his head resting in a pool of blood. Initial examinations suggest that he has suffered blunt force trauma, likely from a heavy object. A desk lamp rests broken beside him, and a blood-stained paperweight is nearby. The office is in disarray. Papers are strewn across the floor, some fluttering as if caught in a breeze. A glass has been shattered, adding to the chaos. Despite the signs of struggle, nothing of value seems to have been taken, raising questions about the motive. Detectives quickly gather, trying to piece together the situation. Rachel Collins, the lead investigator, surveys the scene, her mind racing with possibilities. Was this a crime of passion, fueled by the heated argument? Or was it an accident disguised as a murder? The disarray suggests a struggle, but it could also be a deliberate setup to mislead the investigation. Jake Turner, the office janitor, stumbles into the grim scene while making his rounds late at night. As he pushes the cleaning cart into Daniel's office, he's greeted by a horrifying sight: Daniel's lifeless body slumped over the desk. Jake's heart races, and panic grips him. He drops his cleaning supplies, stumbling back out of the office and frantically dials 911, his hands shaking as he explains what he's found. Within minutes, Detective Rachel Collins and her team arrive at the scene, their expressions serious as they prepare to investigate the murder of a prominent businessman. Rachel steps into the office, immediately assessing the chaotic scene. She notices suspicious fingerprints on the broken glass and quickly sends samples for analysis. Among the scattered papers, she spots Emma's fingerprints on the desk, an alarming discovery that raises her suspicions. Karen Morgan, Daniel's wife, is called in for questioning. As Rachel interviews her, she observes Karen's demeanor. Despite the news of her husband's death, Karen seems eerily composed, which makes Rachel wary. Karen's answers are calm, yet they lack emotional depth, raising red flags for the detective. Emma is also brought in for questioning. When confronted with the evidence against her, she becomes defensive. "I didn't kill him," she insists, but her alibi for the time of the murder is shaky at best. Rachel notes her trembling hands and darting eyes, signaling that Emma may be hiding something crucial. Rachel begins her interviews with the staff, starting with Emma. She probes deeper into Emma's relationship with Daniel, asking pointed questions about their affair. Emma's story is inconsistent, revealing gaps that Rachel is keen to explore. The detective can see that Emma is struggling to maintain her composure, her body language betraying her nerves. Next, Rachel interviews Tom Peterson, Daniel's business partner. Tom admits he knew about the affair, but seems reluctant to share much else. His expressions of loyalty to Daniel appear conflicted. Rachel senses that Tom may have insights into Daniel's personal and professional life that he isn't willing to disclose. As the investigation unfolds, Rachel jots down notes, connecting the dots between the characters and their relationships. She begins to realize that everyone in this story has something to hide, and she's determined to uncover the truth behind Daniel's shocking murder. As Detective Rachel Collins dives deeper into the investigation, she uncovers a tangled web of Daniel Morgan's business dealings that raises alarm bells. Colleagues whisper about his involvement in risky financial maneuvers and the mounting pressure from investors who had lost confidence in him. Rachel learns that Daniel had recently received threats from disgruntled partners who felt cheated and betrayed. This new information suggests that Daniel's murder could be connected to a professional hit rather than a personal conflict. Meanwhile, the discovery of Emma Hughes's phone records adds another layer of complexity. Rachel finds a series of increasingly threatening messages that Emma sent to Daniel in the days leading up to his death. In these texts, Emma expresses feelings of betrayal and desperation, demanding that Daniel make a choice about their relationship. The messages reveal Emma's emotional volatility, painting her as a woman pushed to the edge. This evidence complicates Rachel's view of Emma. Could she have acted on her anger? As Rachel pieces together the timeline, she becomes aware of the janitor, Jake Turner. His odd behavior during questioning catches her attention. He seems anxious and avoids eye contact. When Rachel asks him about the night of the murder, Jake hesitates. His response is vague and inconsistent. Something about his demeanor raises red flags, making Rachel suspect that he might know more than he's letting on. Is he just a scared employee, or does he have a hidden agenda? Under the strain of the investigation, Emma starts to unravel. The pressure mounts as reporters swarm outside the office, eager for any scoop about the scandal. Emma, once confident and assertive, now appears fragile and scared, overwhelmed by the scrutiny of the media and her colleagues. She fears the repercussions of the affair and the possibility of being branded as the murderer, and it shows in her increasingly erratic behavior. Rachel observes Emma's emotional breakdown with a mixture of sympathy and concern. The parallels between Emma's situation and her own troubled marriage become painfully clear. Rachel's husband has been distant, and their communication has deteriorated to the point where they barely speak. The emotional toll of her investigation leads Rachel to question her own choices and the fragility of love and trust in relationships. Each time she sees Emma, she is reminded of her own struggles, drawing her deeper into the case. In a dramatic confrontation, Rachel brings Emma in for one last interrogation. The tension in the room is palpable as Rachel lays out all the evidence she's gathered. With a firm but compassionate tone, Rachel pieces together the timeline, revealing that Emma didn't murder Daniel, but was present during the fatal confrontation. Rachel discovers that earlier that night, Karen, Daniel's wife, had come to the office unexpectedly. Fueled by jealousy and betrayal, Karen confronted Daniel about the affair. Caught off guard and feeling cornered, Daniel attempted to placate her, but the argument escalated. In a moment of rage, Karen struck Daniel, leading to his tragic death. Emma, witnessing the scene unfold, fled the office in fear, knowing that her presence could implicate her in the murder. This revelation shakes Rachel to her core. The complexity of human emotions, love, betrayal, and rage has played out in a way that no one could have predicted. Rachel realizes that all the characters in this tragic drama are intertwined in a web of consequences, and the true victim is not just Daniel, but also the women who loved him. Karen, overcome with guilt and despair, confesses to the murder, admitting that her actions stemmed from a place of deep emotional pain and betrayal. As she is taken into custody, her world collapses around her. Emma is cleared of any wrongdoing, but the scandal of the affair remains, leaving her to face public backlash and the fallout from her reputation. She is no longer just the secretary. She is now a symbol of betrayal in the eyes of the office and the media. Jake Turner, the janitor, who was initially viewed with suspicion, is ultimately exonerated when Rachel learns that he had been in the building that night, but was not involved in the crime. His nervousness was simply a reaction to being caught in the crossfire of a scandal much larger than himself. With the truth revealed, the office struggles to regain its footing. Colleagues whisper behind closed doors, and the atmosphere is thick with tension. Relationships are fractured, and trust is shattered, casting a long shadow over the workplace. Karen faces the consequences of her actions, and the legal system begins to unravel the case against her. As she is arrested and taken away, Rachel reflects on the broader implications of the events. While justice is served, the emotional scars left behind are profound and far-reaching. Rachel grapples with her own feelings about the case. She understands that love and trust can be fragile, and that even the strongest relationships can fall apart under pressure. Emma, despite being cleared of murder charges, now faces a world that views her with suspicion and scorn. The affair that once seemed like a passionate romance now stands as a mark of shame. As Rachel returns home, she contemplates her own marriage, realizing that she must confront her issues rather than allow them to fester. The lessons learned from this case resonate within her, igniting a determination to communicate openly and honestly with her husband. The story may have ended, but the journey of healing and understanding for all involved has just begun. Betrayal is a core theme of this story, manifesting in both emotional and professional dimensions. Emma, as Daniel's secretary, represents personal betrayal by engaging in an affair with her boss, who is married. This relationship undermines not only their professional ethics, but also their personal integrity. Daniel's betrayal is twofold. He deceives his wife, Karen, by engaging in a secret relationship while also misleading Emma about his intentions. He promises her a future together, yet fails to act on it, ultimately leaving both women feeling used and heartbroken. The fallout from these betrayals drives the plot forward, leading to mistrust, anger, and ultimately, tragedy. The story delves into the complex power dynamics present in both personal and professional relationships. Daniel, as the boss, holds power over Emma, who relies on him for her career advancement. This imbalance creates a situation where Emma feels pressured to accept the affair, hoping it will lead to a better position in the company. However, as the story progresses, Emma's frustration grows, reflecting her desire for agency and control in her own life. Conversely, Daniel's refusal to leave his wife and commit to Emma highlights his need to maintain control over the situation. The conflict between them demonstrates how power can corrupt relationships, leading to destructive choices and devastating consequences. Karen's actions are driven by a powerful need for revenge against Daniel's infidelity. Although she initially appears calm and collected, her emotional turmoil simmers beneath the surface. When she discovers the affair, her world shatters, igniting feelings of betrayal and rage. This drives her to confront Daniel, and in a moment of heated passion, she accidentally kills him. Karen's quest for revenge is not just about punishing her husband, but also reclaiming her own sense of dignity and control after being deceived. Her actions serve as a catalyst for the story, illustrating how betrayal can lead to dire consequences and how revenge can spiral out of control, ultimately resulting in tragedy for everyone involved. These themes intertwine to create a gripping narrative that explores the complexities of human relationships, the consequences of betrayal, and the dark paths revenge can lead us down. Emma Hughes is deeply entangled in a manipulative game with her boss, Daniel Morgan. She pushes him to leave his wife, believing that their affair can lead to a genuine relationship. Emma uses emotional tactics, often reminding Daniel of the promises he made to her, and threatens to expose their relationship if he doesn't comply. This creates a power struggle where she feels she must take drastic actions to secure her future. On the other hand, Daniel is also manipulative. He expertly balances both women, playing on their emotions to keep his life intact. He tells Emma what she wants to hear, making promises he has no intention of keeping, while maintaining a facade of commitment to his wife, Karen. This duality of manipulation creates a toxic environment where both Emma and Daniel are trapped in their own lies. Karen Morgan appears composed and in control, but beneath her calm exterior lies deep emotional trauma. She has long suspected Daniel of cheating, but has chosen to ignore the signs, burying her feelings to maintain her family's image. This denial leads to a buildup of resentment and anger. When she discovers the affair, her emotions explode, culminating in a moment of violence that she never thought she was capable of. Emma's psychological state is fragile. The affair has consumed her, and the pressure of Daniel's indecision drives her to desperation. She feels isolated, torn between love and betrayal. The fear of losing Daniel pushes her to threaten exposure, revealing her deep-seated insecurities and fears about her own worth. This unraveling leads her to act in ways that are increasingly erratic and impulsive, reflecting her emotional turmoil. Detective Rachel Collins finds herself emotionally invested in the case. As she investigates, she recognizes parallels between her own relationship struggles and the dynamics of Emma and Daniel's affair. Rachel grapples with her feelings of anger and betrayal, which cloud her judgment. This internal conflict creates tension in her investigation, as she must separate her personal experiences from her professional responsibilities. Her empathy for Emma's position makes her question the motivations of everyone involved, complicating her investigation. Rachel is driven to seek justice, but she also feels a sense of sympathy for the women caught in a web of deceit. This struggle affects her decision-making, making her more vulnerable to manipulation from those she interviews, especially as she uncovers their psychological motivations.